He's made it clear on many occasions the only person he's interested in calling him daddy are women, not babies.
Damn! Baby or daddy? Oh, that's a funny question. I'll take both.
What's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for clicking on this video. We are here today to talk about why Namjoon is such a relatable king. I don't know about you, but it is so nice to just hear from them again. You know, they've been gone. You know, military is pretty taxing stuff. So it's nice to see that they're out in Fashion Week in Paris. They're back on lives. They're out here making content again and they're showing it. It's just nice to see. Recently, Namjoon has gone viral for some remarks he made about children and marriage, and we're gonna talk about why. Before we dive in though, I just filmed an interesting story time on Patreon. You know, getting ghosted is a pretty normal thing, but what happens when you hook up, they ghost you, and then they come back because they don't remember you? Like, what? Here's a little clip. When I woke up, he was gone. And honestly, I wasn't even upset. I wanted my space. But later that day, I asked him if we could talk about the night before. He didn't respond that day. Okay, busy guy, I guess that's fine. But then another day went by and I hit him with a good morning text. Still nothing. I wasn't gonna do a double text to a guy who hadn't responded to me, because if he wanted to talk to me, he would. No one is that busy. Color me shocked because a week had gone by and still no reply from him. I get it. I got it. I just got ghosted. Cool. Not the first time. It is, however, the first time I got ghosted by a guy who had just asked me to be his girlfriend. So that's that, right? Ghosted after awkward, terrible, quite literally dry sex. But this wouldn't be that interesting of a story if it ended there. We've all been ghosted at least once. But what happened next truly proves how stupid and absent-minded men can be. So if you want to hear more about why he ghosted her, why she didn't take him back, how this all went down, click the link below in the description to join my Patreon. And you can also gain access to a bunch of other NSFW story times that will get demonetized on YouTube and get a little spice in your life when we talk about dating in Korea. Please leave a like on the video if you want to help support me, subscribe if you haven't already, and help drive up the engagement. If you don't know what to say, leave a comment below. This is for the watch. Right, Namjoon, the main course for today's video. So recently Namjoon went live on Weverse and he talked about society's expectations around getting married and having children. He even talked about all the pressures that women in particular face. And this is what he said. When it comes to marriage, I think a lot of people feel pressure both by reality and by society, especially women, since there's constant pressure from the media and people around them about having kids or other responsibilities. It seems like we're all being pushed into a mold, but honestly, I just wish people could live life at their own pace. I don't think there's a single right answer. From my point of view, if someone can't handle being alone, then even if they get married, will that really fix things? Because when you're married, there are still moments when you want to be alone. That's just human nature. So I think people who are comfortable being alone can also be good partners when they're together with someone and vice versa. But choosing marriage as a way to escape loneliness, I'm not sure that's the right approach. We'll get into what he said about children a little bit later, but first I want to dissect this quote a little bit because factual is completely factual. There are a lot of people who seek relationships because they don't want to be alone, or they seek relationships because they need someone to validate them. Trust me, that knowledge comes from personal experience. But I really feel like you can't be a good partner to someone if you're not capable of being on your own, if you're not capable of loving yourself without someone else to reassure you, validate you. What's the word I'm looking for? I think reassure. Because if you need someone to reassure you and that's the only self-validation you get, that's not a healthy approach. I agree with Namjoon on that one. I also feel like it is very different between men and women because men can have babies and be first-time dads in their 50s. Women, though we are seeing the goalposts move beyond a little bit, you know, back in the day, you were a teenager in your early 20s when you had your first kid. Now we're starting to see more women wait until their 30s and 40s to have their first child. But that does not come without risks. And on top of that, my personal thing, so I'm 32, I don't have kids, I don't want kids yet, but I feel like I might one day. But one thing that always looms in the back of my mind is I don't want to be 60 years old with a 15-year-old. You know, I want to be around for as much of their life as possible. And the longer I wait, the less likely that is. And I do think about that from time to time, but I also don't want to have a child just for the sake of having a child. I want to be able to provide for my child. I want that child. And I want them to be happy. As millennials and Gen Z, you know, the world around us does not host a fertile and suitable environment to bring up children. Not only is it insanely expensive, but it's so dangerous. Look how many PDF files keep coming out, and the school pews. It just does not, like, who wants to bring up a child in this climate? Speaking of climate change, like, will there be an earth left for them to grow up on, you know? I feel like the beauty of feminism is if you choose to be a mother and a wife, that is your choice. If you choose to not be a mother and a wife and have a career or travel, that is your choice. That is the simplicity of feminism. It is not trying to force ideals on you. It's trying to give you the option to choose for yourself. And not enough people understand the difference. Like, I really feel like people don't understand how women sacrifice so much to be a wife and a mom. So much more than fathers have to sacrifice. Fathers and husbands do not sacrifice enough. I'm sorry, that's just the facts. I'm not gonna dive into this again in this video. We talked about this a lot in past videos. I'm just saying, hearing Namjoon say this was refreshing. Whenever you see people talk about, like, debate about marriage and children and trad wife and like modern girl boss wife, you know, like, there's always these debates, right? Which one is the right way? And I don't think there is a right way. I think if a woman wants to be a trad wife, that is her choice. If a woman wants to be a girl boss and focus on her career, that is your choice. Like, it is that simple. For the longest time, the whole goal of life has been make enough money to support your family and carry your legacy on through children. Like, have a family and be married. That has been the goal in life. And if you don't want that, then somehow there is something wrong with you. And I don't understand that. There are a lot of people who would rather be miserable and married than single and happy. Because it's a status thing. Like, I secured a wife. I secured a husband. Even if y'all hate each other.
But the purpose of university is to find a suitable husband. Rose has already done that.
You know how we were just talking about BTS is in their thirst trap era, and how Namjoon will always be my favorite because he's like my dimpled genius. And when he talks like this, that's exactly why I love him. Respectfully. So this is what Namjoon said about children. As for having kids, I really don't know. I already find it challenging enough to take care of myself. So raising another life is not something that goes the way you want it to. Kids have their own personalities. When I think about how much trouble I gave my parents growing up, I can't help but think, what if I have a kid like me? Ugh, just imagining it. I'd love them, sure, but it'd be tough. There's no right answer to any of this. People who are married can only speak from the perspective of someone who's married, and people who aren't married can only speak from their own experiences, and neither side truly understands the other. So I think we should just take these stories and experiences of people around us as what they are, their experiences. In a way, I think our generation, those of us born in the 90s, are the first in Korea to really see marriage as an option. And because of that, I believe we should all follow our own choices. And this is why he's the leader of BTS. I'm sorry, I love the thought of him being like a difficult child. And he's like, if my kid's like me, God help us all. Personally, not to brag, but I feel like if my kid was anything like me, I would be so blessed because I feared my mother. Like, respectfully, she didn't abuse me or anything like that, but I was always so weary of do not let her down, do not disappoint her, follow the rules. I mean, of course, I was a dick as a teenager. Like, I talked back to her, but my talk back is not actual talk back. Like, I would be like, Tammy, and I would say her name, and she'd be like, little girl. You know, some kids curse out their parents. That was like my sass, you know? I was such a homebody. It got to the point where my mom, she's like, you know, you can go out, right? You can go to parties, you have a curfew. And I'm like, yeah, I'd rather stay and watch anime. I'm all right, read my manga. I mean, I wasn't the best student in school, but, you know, more often than not, I made honor roll. So I would have like mostly B's, some A's. But yeah, I especially like the line he said about how younger generations are seeing marriage as a choice. Because back in the day, it used to be mandatory, especially for women, because you had to rely on a man to take care of you. You couldn't have your own bank account. You couldn't get a loan for a house. You know, you didn't make a lot of money, even as your little secretary job. So you needed a man to secure your future. And now we don't have to do that. And it's really weird that so many women are judged for not wanting to be married. But when men don't want to be married, he's a bachelor. How exciting. I mean, even now when you watch Korean news and you see celebrities getting married, they're in like their late 30s, early 40s, getting married for the first time. And I feel like you need to be grown up and live your experiences to be a good partner, like a forever, eternal husband or wife. If you get married too young, there's still so much you don't know about life. There's still so much you haven't experienced for yourself. And you're still curious. You know, you're still going to want to do things and take risks that you shouldn't as a married, tied down spouse. And I feel like when you have kids later in life, you have so much more you can teach them and so many more ways you can guide them and relate to them. And that's one thing I'm looking forward to, having them later. Another thing I think about, my grandmother was 19 when she had my mom. And my mom was 20 when she had me. I'm lucky that they're around and healthy and still in my life. And the older I get, I do worry like my kid's not gonna have that luxury. But I mean, in this economy, it is really hard to just take care of yourself, let alone a baby. It's not even just 18 years. You got to support them all through college and university too. And to pay for that, you might have to start an OnlyFans. So for the people who want to get married, I applaud you. Like, that is a great goal to have. For people who are happily married right now, that is great. That is so good for you. But I don't think it's fair to judge other people who don't want the same thing you want. Like, even my grandmother, like every now and then, you know, she'll remind me, you're getting older. And like my boyfriend, she's like, are y'all gonna get married? Are y'all gonna have kids soon? And I'm not trying to rush anything. I really, really do not want to rush anything. On my 30th birthday, when I was single, she called me and lectured me about having to settle down soon and looking to pick one place and maybe not travel so much. And even for Christmas that year, it was the same thing. She's like, you know, you're getting up there. And when I was your age, and I'm just like, that was you though. And that was a different time, respectfully, but that's not what I want. It feels like the formula. And I mean, I say this mostly as an American because cultures vary from country to country, but like in the capitalist regime that's taken over the world, the typical structure is you work as hard as you can while you're young, save your money, save whatever scraps and coins you can, get married, have a baby, watch them grow up, and then later in life when you're a senior citizen, that's when you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's when you can travel. That's when you can retire and do what you want and pick up your hobbies that you wanted. And I don't like that formula because tomorrow is never, ever guaranteed, especially with World War III constantly looming in the horizon. You know, you never know what's going to happen. And I always think back to this episode of it was some crime murder show I saw. They saved their money, but then the wife was diagnosed with like aggressive cancer and she couldn't go anywhere. It's like I won't say wasted your life, but you could have done so much of this younger, you know, when you were healthier. And for us to just be expected to work like dogs while we can to support our government and our economy, and then when you're old, travel and enjoy. I don't like that. And for the first time, we are seeing younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, Alpha, travel now instead of waiting until later. And this is, you know, particularly funny coming from Namjoon because I remember back in like 2020, there were so many rumors that he was like secretly married. And because people know he's my favorite, they would like send me all these articles and send me these videos and screenshots. That's a wedding ring. He's secretly married. Isis, is it you? Are you jealous? Are you upset? And even if he is, that is his choice. I don't care. Like I said, respectfully, I can love you from afar. I'm not going to be upset when they're happy and in love. He's made it clear on many occasions the only person he's interested in calling him daddy are women, not babies.
Damn! Baby or daddy? Oh, that's a funny question. I'll take both.
Hey!
It's just when you hear him speak like this, it just proves he's grown up so much. And I love it. I'm here for it. I love to see it. And I'm glad moments like this go viral because typically when a celebrity goes viral, it's because they said something stupid or did something hateful. And it's nice to see people get talked about for the right reasons. And one of the reasons I particularly find this problematic is if people are at a certain age and they don't have a spouse or a child or a house, they feel like failures when they compare themselves to other people. And that is not how it should be. You should do what makes you happy, go at your own pace, find your own slice of happiness in the hellscape that is life. Like, I wish people could just live their life for themselves without judging other people who don't live to their standards and their expectations. Anyway, that's all. Let me know what you think about our President Namjoon saying what he said about marriage and children. Also, let me know in the comments if there are other things you guys would like for me to talk about or weigh in on, because I do get DMs on Instagram. Follow me there if you don't. Every now and then people are like, oh, Isis, have you heard about this? Oh, Isis, you should talk about this. So let me know below what we should talk about next. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong!